Alright, and what is good, everybody? Quancredible here to bring you the review for Black Clover chapter 252. Now, before I get into this super hype chapter, because this chapter was absolutely crazy, I do kind of want to touch on at least what's going on right now. With all the protesting and all that going on, I definitely want everybody to stay safe. Whether you're my subscriber or a mutual or just someone who just randomly clicked on the video, it's really dangerous out there. So I just want to make sure everybody stays safe. To the people that are out there protesting, I just want to make sure that we do not lose sight of what we are protesting for. Um, I just want us to really keep that in mind. And for the people that are not out there protesting, it is okay. It's okay if you share the outrage, but you're not out there. But what you have a responsibility to do is make sure that in the circle that you influence, such as your family, friends, and people that you know in your platform, that you are making sure that this kind of stuff is not tolerated at all. Like, it is our responsibility, everyone, to make sure that these, injustices don't go overlooked. That's just what I wanted to touch on really quick. If anybody, like, I'm only one person, but as much as I can do, I want to make sure that I use the voice I have to, you know, just at least voice my stand. But enough of that, into the chapter though, because like I said earlier, this chapter was hype. Chapter 252. So we got the very beginning of the long anticipated fight between Noelle and Vonica. Or I guess I should say the royal trio and Vonica and group finally got that. First panel right out the gate, we got Noelle shooting the Sea Dragon's Roar at Vonica, and we get finally the confirmation that Vonica has blood magic. I know I said something about it myself last chapter, about her having blood magic. I've seen tons of other people theorize it as well. So I mean, it's cool to see that she actually has it. But yeah, she just totally just brushes Noelle's Sea Dragon's Roar aside as if it was nothing, even saying was that dragon supposed to be a snake. I almost feel like this was like a reference to like a small callback to when Noelle's Sea Dragon's Roar destroyed solid her brother Serpent. Almost reminded me of that. And then we also see that Mimosa will be the one fighting the weird ton magic guy. I do believe Mimosa can probably hold him off. I mean, it sucks that he can't die, I guess, until Vonica is defeated. So this is kind of almost one-sided on Mimosa's end. So I get this is definitely back burner stuff. We'll see where that goes later. We also finally got confirmation that the Dark Triad members all have two types of magic. Lots of people, including myself, believe this to be true, just because it seemed like Dante had two types of magic when he was fighting. It seemed like Xenon kind of had two types of magic. Well, not really. I mean, it depends on what you consider that box thing he did to Yuno, but that's a whole nother side of debates and theories in itself. So it's understandable if you're not really sold on that. But it was kind of alluded to with Dante. It's my main point that I'm getting at here. So we see that Vonica has blood magic, which would go in line with the Heart Kingdom's more human body magic, and then curse magic, which would be what Majecula has. And then during this fight, we often get to see glimpses of Vonica's more darker side, whereas when Noelle asks her a question, she says why do I have to tell a nobody like you? And it's really strange because I know I said this last chapter, but she just seems overly obsessed with Laurel Petrica, and it seems that it stems past that, and it's just she's only interested in strong people. I've seen someone make a comparison between her and Luck, which I feel like this chapter definitely, more so solidified that she is almost she is a eviler version of him, in that sense of where she only wants to fight strong people and she doesn't really care about people that can't challenge her. And we also get this flashback scene of Laurel Petrica in this immense library, and this is really cool to me just because it we get to see more. I don't know, I consider this more of the Heart Kingdom, even though you might just consider this the Heart Kingdom's royalty or the Heart Princess's line or whatever. But it's just interesting to see that they have such an expansive library on just who knows what, and the fact that the Heart Princesses pass down all their experience and information just down the line. It really shows that the Heart Princesses are incredible in their own right. But this just makes me wonder hopefully in the future we get to see more of Laurel Petrica doing things, because as of right now she just keeps playing a supporting role instead of like an active fighting role. So it's just weird. Like you have all this experience, all this power, but you just keep supporting. Like it's something I'm not getting here. So hopefully that'll be filled in later. And then we also get like this crazy panel of like all the stuff that could possibly go down if they open this door to the underworld or whatever you want to call it, using Yami and William's magic. And it's just all kind of stuff on here. Like I was like taken away, like, or I was taken back. Like I was surprised that this was even in a shonen series at all. Like, but the main thing from this that I want to take away from is Lord Petrica was telling them that if their plan is to succeed, over 90% of the people on that continent will die. And the fact that she used that continent is really interesting to me, just because it definitely alludes to there being more to the world of Black Clover outside of the continent that we are on. Like outside of these four kingdoms, there's more to the world. So, I mean, granted, we already know about Yami's land, but it's just like it's almost like Tabata isn't quite forgetting about the rest of the world, which is interesting to see. Because after this arc, we're definitely going to have to see more. Like, because at this point, the whole continent will have been kind of more or less explained, I guess would be a way to put it. So definitely looking forward to after this, seeing like what he has in store. And then towards the end of the chapter, we get Laurel Petrica using Monozone and her water spirit to create this like huge, like I think it's called like Lucid Sanctuary or something along those lines. Like this huge water bubble, more or less above the Heart Kingdom. I doubt it's the size of the Heart Kingdom or anything crazy, but it is massive nonetheless. And it's since Laurel had fought Vanica before, she apparently knows that water magic or something like cuts Vanica's power in half, I guess. It sounds a little crazy to me, like just saying it out loud, like, oh yeah, I make this water bubble and you're trapped in it, and now like your blood magic's power is cut in like half. And it's like, how do you know that? Like, I granted they fought, but it's like it just seems so oddly specific. But anyway, I mean, I guess I could kind of see it, because you dilute blood in water, I guess it might lose its potency, whatever. It could work. It's fantasy. I'm not trying to pick too much into it. But anyway, the bubble is supposed to cut Vanica's power in half while boosting Noelle's power. Apparently, like Laurel said, she knew Vanica was coming because they fought already, so they trained for countermeasures, which is kind of cool. Oftentimes you see characters just training just to get stronger in general, but I do think that devising exact countermeasures for people is a really smart idea. So they probably practiced for this exact thing for Vanica. And yeah, so like Noelle gets like this crazy new Valkyrie dress form, albeit with the aid of Laura Petrica. Like, she can't just go this form on her own, but it's dope to see that she has one on her own. For all the people that are outraged over how revealing it is and all that, I mean, who cares? Like, who cares? It's dope. It's dope to see her have a new form. Like, who cares? But anyway, she goes and like stabs Vanica with her lance, and actually gets like her to spit out blood. Like, actually does damage to her, which is dope, because the Sea Dragon's Roar did absolutely nothing. Now, the only thing here that worries me is Vanica, while she does have like slight curse markings on her, she hasn't stated to be using like a percentage of her devil yet, which is kind of concerning for the fight, considering this is probably Noelle's absolute strongest she can be right now, plus the aid of Laurel Petrica. So like Noelle's like maxed out right now, and all she was able to do, or all she was able to get out of Vanica, was like a smile and her to cough up some blood. And also the blood Vanica's coughing up, I think this is like part of her plan or strategy. Obviously that we won't know till next week, but her like coughing up blood into the water, I think there's definitely a plan here. Like, she's gonna cough that up and it's gonna go into the bubble and something crazy is gonna happen. I don't exactly know what, but all I know is this has to be planned. Like, has to be Vanica's IQ 300 strategy. That's what I think is going to happen next chapter, outside of what I just said. Definitely Vanica's totally fine. She'll probably start to use a percentage of her, or hopefully she at least starts to use a percentage of her devil in the next chapter to, I guess, take out Noelle entirely. Well, I don't really want that to happen, to be honest with you. I really don't. But I do want more of a direct exchange between Laurel and Vanica. Just because, like, man, Laurel just keeps getting more and more hyped up every chapter or every time we see her, and she never fights. It's like, come on, dude. Like, this is the opportunity for you to step in there. It's like, why are you sending Noelle after Vanica when you're there? Like, All I'm saying is Julius would never. That's all I'm getting at. Julius would never send like Yami, or would never send Asta to do his fighting if he's literally right there. That's all I'm getting at. And I like Laurel, so this isn't a shot at her. I like Laurel a lot, but I'm just saying, man, come on. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the chapter. Definitely hype chapter. I mean, definitely for Tabata, only putting out 15 pages every week, he jam packs them every time. This is probably like my, again, perfect mixture of like dialogue and fighting with like, you know, world building, character development, like all of this. Well, not really any character development, more like character exploration. Like we kind of get to see more on Monica and kind of got to see more on Laurel. So like when you mix all those things together, that's like what I personally like. Other people are probably different. So for me, this chapter like a 9 and a half. Can't really ask for too much more outside of a chapter, in my opinion. So super hype. Definitely pumped for next week's chapter. Only got to wait a week, so that'll be dope. Let me know what you guys thought about the chapter down below. Are you pumped up for to see what's gonna happen with Vonica and Noelle? Are you more pumped up for Vonica fighting Laurel? Do you think Noelle's actually going to be able to stay in the fight when Vonica starts to actually get serious? Yeah, just let me know what you guys are expecting down below. Yeah, but if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and sub to the channel. I really appreciate all of the support. You guys are great. Like I said earlier in the video, whether you're out there protesting or not, we all have a responsibility to make sure injustices don't go just like unchecked or overlooked. It's like now more than ever, it's important that we, you know, make progress towards the change that we all want to see for the future. So, like I said, sorry to put that on to anybody who's trying to avoid the negativity, because it is everywhere. But, but yeah. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. So, I'm out. Oh wait, no. See you guys in my next video. That's what I say. See you guys in my next video. I forgot.